There's a reason Solomon's Proverbs have survived thousands of years. They weren't written for people living in calm, predictable times. They were written for people just like us, people navigating change, uncertainty, relationships that fall apart, decisions that feel too heavy, and mornings when you don't know if you're strong enough to keep going. Proverbs doesn't sugarcoat life. It tells you the truth. And the truth is this: wisdom isn't just nice to have. It's what keeps you standing when everything around you is shifting. It's what protects your heart when the world tries to harden it. It's what guides your steps when the path ahead is unclear. Today, we're going to walk through 50 lessons from Proverbs, lessons that will anchor you, sharpen you, and keep you wise no matter how fast life moves. These aren't just ancient words on a page. They're living principles that will transform the way you think, the way you love, the way you lead, and the way you survive. So if you're ready, let's dive in. Before we begin, I want to invite you into something meaningful. Wherever you are in the world right now, whether you're watching from your living room, your car, during a lunch break, or late at night when you can't sleep, I'd love to know where you're tuning in from. Drop a comment below and let me know your city or country. And if you'd rather not share your location, that's completely okay. Just type "Peace of the Lord" or "Amen" so I know you're here with us. This channel isn't just content, it's a community, and I truly believe we're stronger when we know we're not walking this journey alone. If this message is speaking to you, I'd be so honored if you'd subscribe to the channel, hit that button, be part of this family. We're building something real here, a space where faith isn't just talked about, but lived out. And if you feel led, consider becoming a channel member. Not because I'm asking for money, but because this is a movement. It's a way of saying, I'm standing with you. I believe in this message. I want to help carry hope to more people. Membership isn't a transaction. It's belonging. It's fellowship. It's saying yes to being part of something that points people back to God. We're connected now, you and me and everyone watching. Let's keep building this together. Now let's get into the wisdom. Lesson 1. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Proverbs 9:10 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding." This is where everything starts, not with your intelligence, not with your experience, not with your education. Wisdom begins when you recognize who God is and who you are in relation to Him. The fear of the Lord isn't about being terrified. It's about reverence. It's about understanding that God is holy, powerful, and sovereign, and that your life is safest when it's surrendered to Him. When you fear the Lord, you stop trusting in your own understanding. You stop leaning on your own logic. You start seeking His voice first, and that's when everything changes. You make better decisions. You avoid traps you didn't even see coming. You walk in a clarity that others can't explain. If you want wisdom, start here. Honor God. Revere Him. Let Him be the foundation of every choice you make. This isn't just a nice religious phrase. It's the anchor for everything else we're going to talk about today. Because without the fear of the Lord, wisdom is just clever thinking. But with the fear of the Lord, wisdom becomes life-giving, soul-protecting, destiny-shaping truth. So many people are chasing knowledge, chasing information, chasing strategies, but they're missing the foundation. They're building on sand, and when the storms come, everything collapses. But when you build on the fear of the Lord, when you start with Him, when you let His character and His truth be the bedrock of your life, you stand firm, you endure, you thrive even when everything around you is shaking. So before you make another decision, before you take another step, ask yourself, am I honoring God in this? Am I seeking Him first? Am I building on the right foundation? Because that's where wisdom begins. The fear of the Lord changes everything about how you approach life. It changes how you see success. It changes how you handle failure. It changes how you treat people. It changes your priorities, your perspective, your purpose. When God is at the center, when He's the starting point, everything else falls into place. Not because life becomes easy, but because you're anchored to something that can't be shaken. You're connected to a source of wisdom that never runs dry. Lesson 2. Guard your heart above all else. Proverbs 4:23 says, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." Your heart is the command center of your life. It's where your desires are formed, your motives are shaped, and your decisions are born. If your heart is compromised, everything else will be too. That's why you have to be careful about what you let in. The people you spend time with, the content you consume, the thoughts you entertain, the bitterness you hold on to, all of it shapes your heart, and your heart shapes your life. Guarding your heart doesn't mean building walls. It doesn't mean isolating yourself or refusing to love or trust anyone. It means being intentional. It means protecting your peace. It means not giving access to anything that pulls you away from God. Think about it like this. Your heart is like a garden. Whatever you plant there will grow. If you plant seeds of resentment, anger, lust, or fear, that's what will take root. That's what will produce fruit in your life. But if you plant seeds of love, truth, faith, and hope, that's what will flourish. And the thing about gardens is that they require maintenance. You can't just plant good seeds and walk away. You have to pull the weeds. You have to water. You have to protect it from pests and invasive species. That's what it means to guard your heart. You have to be vigilant. You have to pay attention to what's trying to take root. And when you see something that doesn't belong, you have to deal with it quickly before it spreads. When your heart is aligned with God, your life follows. Your decisions make sense. Your relationships are healthier. Your peace is protected. But when your heart is divided, distracted, or damaged, everything becomes harder. You make choices you regret. You say things you don't mean. You hurt people you love. And it all traces back to the condition of your heart. So guard it fiercely, intentionally, prayerfully. Don't let just anyone speak into your life. Don't let just anything occupy your mind. Be selective, be careful, be wise, because everything you do flows from your heart. And if your heart is healthy, your life will be too. I've seen too many people lose their way because they didn't guard their heart. They let toxic relationships poison their perspective. They let comparison steal their joy. They let unforgiveness build walls that imprisoned them. They let worry and anxiety take up residence and eventually take over. And slowly, imperceptibly, their heart changed. And when their heart changed, their life changed. Not for the better. So don't let that be you. Guard your heart. It's the wellspring of life. Protect it like your future depends on it. Because it does. Lesson 3. Pride comes before a fall. Proverbs 16:18 says, "Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall." Pride is one of the most dangerous things you can carry. It blinds you. It isolates you. It makes you think you don't need God, don't need counsel, don't need accountability. And that's exactly when you fall. Pride convinces you that you're above correction, above failure, above consequences. But the truth is, no one is. The moment you start thinking you've got it all figured out is the moment you're most vulnerable. Pride whispers lies. You're smarter than everyone else. You don't need their advice. You've earned the right to do whatever you want. The rules don't apply to you, and those lies lead to destruction every single time. History is full of people who were brilliant, talented, successful, and who lost everything because they couldn't humble themselves. They thought they were untouchable. They thought they were invincible, and they fell hard. Humility, on the other hand, keeps you low. It keeps you teachable. It keeps you connected to God and to the wisdom He wants to give you. Humility says, "I don't know everything. I need help. I'm willing to learn. I'm open to correction. And that posture protects you. It keeps you from making catastrophic mistakes. It keeps you from burning bridges and destroying relationships. It keeps you in a place where God can use you and bless you. If you want to avoid unnecessary pain, check your pride. Stay humble. Stay hungry. Stay dependent on God. Don't let success go to your head. Don't let achievements make you arrogant. Don't let approval make you think you're better than everyone else. Remember where you came from. Remember who brought you this far. Remember that without God's grace, you'd have nothing. And let that keep you grounded. Let that keep you humble. Let that keep you safe. I've watched pride destroy marriages, careers, ministries, and friendships. I've seen people at the top of their game lose everything in a moment because they thought they were untouchable. They stopped listening. They stopped seeking counsel. They stopped being humble, and they fell. And the fall was devastating, not just for them, but for everyone around them. Pride doesn't just hurt you. It hurts the people who love you, who depend on you, who believed in you. So don't let pride take root. The moment you start feeling invincible is the moment you need to humble yourself before God and ask Him to keep your heart soft, teachable, and dependent on Him. Lesson 4. A gentle answer turns away wrath. Proverbs 15:1 says, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." This is one of the most practical pieces of wisdom in all of Scripture. How you respond to conflict determines whether it escalates or resolves. When someone comes at you with anger, frustration, or accusations, your natural instinct might be to defend yourself, to match their energy, to fire back. But that only makes things worse. A gentle answer doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're wise. It means you're in control of yourself. It means you're not letting someone else's chaos dictate your response. When you respond with calm, with grace, with patience, you diffuse the situation. You lower the temperature. You create space for understanding. Think about the last time someone was angry with you. Maybe they raised their voice. Maybe they said something hurtful. Maybe they were completely out of line. In that moment, you had a choice. You could respond in kind, raise your voice, say something hurtful back, defend yourself aggressively. Or you could respond with gentleness. And here's what happens when you choose gentleness. It disarms people. It catches them off guard. It makes them pause, because they were expecting a fight. They were expecting you to escalate. And when you don't, when you remain calm and kind, it forces them to reconsider their approach. It creates space for de-escalation. It opens the door for real conversation instead of just combat. This doesn't mean you allow yourself to be disrespected or abused. It doesn't mean you let people walk all over you. It means you choose your battles. You choose your tone. You choose peace over proving a point. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to do, because your pride wants to defend itself. Your ego wants to win the argument. Your emotions want to lash out. But wisdom says, a gentle answer turns away wrath. Wisdom says, this isn't worth the damage it will cause. Wisdom says, I can be right or I can be at peace, and I choose peace. So practice this. The next time someone comes at you with anger, take a breath. Pause. Respond with gentleness. Watch what happens. You might be surprised at how quickly the situation changes, and even if the other person doesn't calm down immediately, you'll walk away knowing you handled it with integrity. You'll walk away with your peace intact. And that's worth more than winning any argument. I've seen marriages saved by this principle. I've seen workplace conflicts resolved by this principle. I've seen families restored by this principle. Because a gentle answer has power. It has the power to break through anger, to soften hearts, to create space for healing. So don't underestimate it. Don't think that responding with gentleness is weak or passive. It's actually one of the strongest, most courageous things you can do. Because it requires self-control. It requires humility. It requires putting the relationship above your need to be right. Lesson 5. Walk with the wise and become wise. Proverbs 13:20 says, "Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm." You become like the people you surround yourself with. That's not a theory, that's a fact. If you're constantly around people who complain, who live recklessly, who have no vision, who don't honor God, you will start to reflect that. But if you surround yourself with people who seek God, who challenge you, who encourage you, who live with integrity, you will grow. Wisdom is contagious. So is foolishness. You have to be intentional about who has access to your life. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Not everyone should have your ear. Not everyone should influence your decisions. This doesn't mean you're better than anyone else. It doesn't mean you look down on people who are struggling or who haven't gotten their life together yet. It means you're protecting your future. It means you're guarding what God is building in you. And sometimes that requires difficult choices. Sometimes it means distancing yourself from people you care about because their influence is pulling you in the wrong direction. Sometimes it means saying no to invitations, to relationships, to opportunities that would compromise your growth. And that's okay. In fact, it's necessary. Choose your circle carefully. Walk with people who are going somewhere. Walk with people who make you better. Walk with people who challenge you to be more like Christ. Walk with people who speak life, who pray for you, who hold you accountable, because the people you walk with will determine where you end up. If you walk with the wise, you'll end up wise. But if you walk with fools, you'll end up foolish. It's that simple. So take inventory of your circle. Look at the 5 people you spend the most time with. Are they pushing you forward or pulling you back? Are they helping you grow or keeping you stuck? Are they pointing you toward God or away from Him? Be honest. And then make whatever changes need to be made. Your future depends on it. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. That's a saying I've heard for years, and it's absolutely true. Your friends shape your thinking. They shape your habits. They shape your character. They shape your destiny. If your friends are pursuing God, you'll pursue God. If your friends are pursuing the world, you'll pursue the world. If your friends are chasing purpose, you'll chase purpose. If your friends are settling for mediocrity, you'll settle for mediocrity. So choose wisely, walk with the wise, and watch how your life transforms. Lesson 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." This is the heartbeat of Proverbs. This is the anchor. You can't figure life out on your own. You were never meant to. Your understanding is limited. Your perspective is incomplete. You only see part of the picture. But God sees everything. He knows the end from the beginning. He knows what's ahead, what's behind, and what's best for you. Trusting Him means letting go of control. It means submitting your plans, your dreams, your fears, your questions, all of it to Him. It means believing that even when the path doesn't make sense, He's still leading you. And when you trust Him fully, He makes your path straight. Not easy, not painless, but straight, aligned, purposeful. This is one of the hardest things to do, especially if you're someone who likes to be in control. If you're a planner, if you're someone who needs to understand the why behind everything, because trusting God often means moving forward without all the answers. It means taking steps when you can't see the full staircase. It means saying yes to things that don't make logical sense. But here's what I've learned. Every time I've tried to figure things out on my own, I've made a mess. Every time I've leaned on my own understanding, I've gotten it wrong. But every time I've trusted God, even when it didn't make sense, He's been faithful. He's led me. He's provided. He's protected me from things I didn't even know were threats. So stop trying to figure it all out. Trust him, submit to him, surrender your need for control, surrender your need for answers, surrender your timeline, and watch him lead you exactly where you need to be. His paths are straight, his ways are higher, his plans are better. Trust him with all your heart. Not some of your heart, not most of your heart, all of it, and watch what he does. The fear of the Lord changes everything about how you approach life. It changes how you see success. It changes how you handle failure. It changes how you treat people. It changes your priorities, your perspective, your purpose. When God is at the center, when he's the starting point, everything else falls into place. Not because life becomes easy, but because you're anchored to something that can't be shaken. You're connected to a source of wisdom that never runs dry. Trusting God doesn't mean you stop planning. It doesn't mean you stop working. It doesn't mean you become passive. It means you hold your plans loosely. It means you do your part and trust God with the results. It means you submit your way to him and let him direct your steps. And when you do that, when you truly trust him with all your heart, you'll find a peace that surpasses understanding. You'll find a confidence that doesn't depend on circumstances. You'll find a clarity that guides you even in the most confusing seasons. Lesson 7. The tongue has the power of life and death. Proverbs 18:21 says, "The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit." Your words matter. They're not just sounds that disappear into the air. They carry weight. They create atmosphere. They build up or tear down. They heal or they wound. You can speak life into someone, encourage them, affirm them, remind them of who God says they are. Or you can speak death, criticize them, belittle them, crush their spirit with careless words. And here's the thing, you will eat the fruit of your words. If you sow life, you'll reap life. If you sow death, you'll reap death. Think about the last conversation you had. What kind of words did you speak? Were they life-giving? Were they encouraging? Were they kind? Or were they harsh, critical, negative? Your words have the power to change someone's day, to change their perspective, to change their life. I've seen people transformed by a single word of encouragement. I've seen people who were ready to give up find hope because someone spoke life over them. And I've also seen people devastated by words that were meant to hurt, meant to diminish, meant to destroy. Words are powerful, and you're responsible for the ones you speak. So be careful with your tongue. Don't say everything you think. Don't speak out of anger, jealousy, or pride. Don't use your words to manipulate, to gossip, to tear others down. Let your words be intentional. Let them be seasoned with grace. Let them reflect the love of Christ. Speak life, speak hope, speak truth, and watch how your words create a different atmosphere around you. Watch how they build people up instead of tearing them down. Watch how they bring healing instead of harm. Your tongue has power. Use it wisely. I've watched words destroy relationships. I've watched a single sentence end a friendship that took years to build. I've watched careless comments create wounds that took decades to heal. And I've also watched words bring resurrection. I've watched encouragement pull someone out of depression. I've watched affirmation help someone discover their calling. I've watched truth set someone free from lies they'd believed their whole life. Your words matter more than you realize. So speak life, always, even when it's hard, even when the other person doesn't deserve it, even when you're hurt or angry or frustrated, speak life. Because death is easy to speak. Life requires intentionality. Lesson 8. A cheerful heart is good medicine. Proverbs 17:22 says, "A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." Your emotional and spiritual health directly impacts your physical health. When your heart is heavy, when you're carrying bitterness, anxiety, or despair, it affects your whole body. But when your heart is light, when you're walking in joy, when you're choosing gratitude even in hard seasons, it heals you. Joy is medicine. It strengthens you. It sustains you. And joy doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It doesn't mean ignoring your pain or suppressing your emotions. It means choosing to trust God even when things aren't fine. It means finding reasons to be grateful in the middle of difficulty. It means refusing to let circumstances steal your peace. I know people who are going through incredibly hard things: loss, sickness, financial struggle, relational pain, and yet they still have joy. Not because their circumstances changed, but because they chose joy. They chose to worship anyway. They chose to trust God anyway. They chose to find reasons to be grateful anyway. And that joy sustained them. It carried them through. It became medicine for their weary souls. So cultivate a cheerful heart, laugh, worship, spend time with people who lift you up. Fill your mind with things that are good, true, and beautiful. Choose gratitude, choose hope, choose joy. Let it be your default, not your exception, and watch how it transforms you from the inside out. Medical science is finally catching up to what the Bible has said for thousands of years. Your mental and emotional state affects your physical health. People who live with chronic stress, anxiety, and negativity have higher rates of heart disease, weakened immune systems, and shorter lifespans. But people who cultivate joy, gratitude, and hope experience better health outcomes across the board. So joy isn't just a nice feeling. It's a health strategy. It's medicine for your body, your mind, and your soul. And it's available to you even in the hardest seasons. You just have to choose it. Lesson 9. Plans fail for lack of counsel. Proverbs 15:22 says, "Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed." You weren't meant to navigate life alone. You need counsel. You need perspective. You need people who can see what you can't see, who can ask the questions you're not asking, who can speak truth when you're too close to the situation to see clearly. Pride tells you that you don't need advice. Pride says, "I've got this. I can figure it out on my own." But wisdom says, "I need all the help I can get." When you're making big decisions about relationships, career, finances, ministry, seek counsel. Talk to people who are older, wiser, and further down the road. Talk to people who love God and love you enough to tell you the truth. Don't make major moves without input. Don't isolate yourself in your decision-making. And here's the key. Seek counsel from multiple people, not just one person. Because one person might have blind spots, one person might have biases, one person might not see the full picture. But when you gather counsel from multiple trusted voices, patterns emerge. You start to see things you missed. You start to hear the same advice from different sources, and that gives you confidence, that gives you clarity, that protects you from making mistakes that could have been avoided. Surround yourself with wise voices, and then listen. Don't just ask for advice and then do what you wanted to do anyway. Actually listen, actually consider what they're saying, actually let their wisdom shape your decisions. Because plans fail for lack of counsel. But with many advisors, they succeed. I've made some of the worst decisions of my life when I refused to seek counsel. I thought I knew better. I thought I had it figured out. I didn't want anyone questioning my plans or challenging my thinking, and I paid the price. But I've also made some of the best decisions of my life when I humbled myself and sought wisdom from people who had walked the road before me. They helped me see things I couldn't see. They asked questions I hadn't considered. They saved me from mistakes that could have been devastating. So learn from my experience, seek counsel, lots of it, from the right people, and then actually listen to it. Lesson 10. The righteous care about justice for the poor. Proverbs 29:7 says, "The righteous care about justice for the poor, but the wicked have no such concern." Your faith isn't just about what happens between you and God. It's about how you treat people, especially the vulnerable, the marginalized, the overlooked. God cares deeply about justice. He cares about the poor, the widow, the orphan, the oppressed, and if you follow him, you should too. That means not turning a blind eye to suffering. It means using your resources, your influence, your voice to stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves. It means seeing people the way Jesus sees them, not as statistics, not as inconveniences, but as image bearers of God who deserve dignity and care. Righteousness isn't just personal holiness. It's social responsibility. It's loving your neighbor as yourself. It's doing justice, loving mercy, and walking humbly with your God. So ask yourself, how am I caring for the poor? How am I standing up for justice? How am I using what I have to help those who have less? Maybe it's giving financially. Maybe it's volunteering your time. Maybe it's using your voice to advocate for policies that protect the vulnerable. Maybe it's simply treating people with dignity when everyone else ignores them. Whatever it is, don't ignore this. Don't think that righteousness is just about avoiding sin. Righteousness is also about actively pursuing justice, actively caring for those who are hurting, actively reflecting the heart of God toward a broken world. That's what it means to be righteous. That's what it means to follow Jesus. Throughout Scripture, God makes it clear that He judges nations and individuals not just by their worship, but by how they treat the poor and oppressed. Over and over, the prophets called out God's people for neglecting justice. Over and over, God said that He doesn't want sacrifices and offerings from people who ignore the suffering around them. He wants justice. He wants mercy. He wants His people to care about what He cares about. So if you want to be righteous, if you want to truly follow God, you have to care about justice. You have to care about the poor. It's not optional. It's essential. Lesson 11. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge. Proverbs 12:1 says, "Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid." That's a strong word. But it's true. If you refuse to be corrected, if you push back every time someone challenges you, if you can't handle feedback, you're foolish, and you'll stay foolish. Discipline isn't punishment. It's growth. It's refinement. It's God loving you enough to shape you into who you're meant to be. When someone corrects you, it's an opportunity. When you fail and learn from it, it's progress. When you're stretched beyond your comfort zone, it's transformation. Think about athletes. They don't get better by avoiding hard workouts. They get better by pushing through the pain, by being coached, by accepting correction and adjusting their technique. That's discipline, and discipline produces excellence. The same is true in your spiritual life. If you want to grow, if you want to mature, if you want to become wise, you have to love discipline. You have to welcome correction. You have to embrace the process, even when it's uncomfortable. Don't run from discipline. Embrace it. It's the path to wisdom. It's the process that makes you strong, capable, and mature. The people who go the furthest in life aren't the ones who never mess up. They're the ones who are willing to be corrected and keep moving forward. They're the ones who learn from their mistakes. They're the ones who let discipline refine them instead of resisting it. So the next time someone corrects you, don't get defensive. Don't make excuses. Don't dismiss it. Listen. Consider it. Thank them for caring enough to speak truth, and then make the necessary changes. That's how you grow. That's how you become wise. I've noticed that the most successful people I know are also the most coachable. They're constantly learning. They're constantly asking for feedback. They're constantly looking for ways to improve. They don't take correction as an insult. They take it as an investment. They see it as someone caring enough to help them get better. And that posture has made all the difference in their lives. So develop that same posture. Love discipline. Welcome correction. Embrace the refining process. And watch how it transforms you. Lesson 12. Anxiety weighs down the heart, but a kind word cheers it up. Proverbs 12:25 says, "Anxiety weighs down the heart, but a kind word cheers it up." Anxiety is heavy, it's exhausting, it steals your joy, your energy, your focus, and in a world that moves this fast, anxiety is everywhere. We're constantly bombarded with information, with demands, with expectations, with fears about the future, and it all adds up. It weighs us down. But here's the beautiful truth. A kind word can lift it. One word of encouragement, one reminder that you're not alone, one text that says, "I'm praying for you," one conversation where someone really listens. That's all it takes sometimes. One kind word can pierce through the darkness. It can remind you that you're seen, that you're loved, that you're not forgotten. So be that person for someone else. Speak life. Send the message. Make the call. Be generous with your encouragement. You have no idea how much it might mean to someone. You have no idea how a simple, kind word might be exactly what they needed to keep going. And when you're the one carrying anxiety, don't carry it alone. Talk to God. Pour out your heart to Him. He already knows what you're feeling, but He wants you to bring it to Him anyway. And talk to someone you trust. Let them speak truth and hope into your heart. Let them remind you of who God is and what He's promised. Anxiety doesn't have to win. Not when you're surrounded by the love of God and the kindness of His people. So don't underestimate the power of a kind word, both in giving it and receiving it. It can change everything. I've received messages from people telling me that a single sentence I said, something I didn't even think twice about, changed their entire perspective. It pulled them out of a dark place. It gave them hope when they had none. And I've been on the receiving end too. I've had moments where I was ready to quit, ready to give up, ready to walk away, and someone spoke a kind word that reminded me why I started, why it matters, why I can't give up. That's the power of a kind word. It's life-changing. So don't withhold it. Speak it freely. Speak it often. Speak it generously. Lesson 13. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes. Proverbs 12:15 says, "The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but a wise person listens to advice." Fools don't think they're fools. They think they're right. They think they've got it all figured out. They don't listen. They don't ask questions. They don't consider other perspectives. And that's exactly what makes them foolish. Wise people know they don't know everything. They're open to learning. They're willing to be wrong. They seek advice. They ask for help. They admit when they're confused. And that humility is what keeps them growing. One of the most dangerous things you can do is assume you're always right. Because you're not. None of us are. We all have blind spots. We all have biases. We all see the world through our own limited perspective. And if we're not willing to consider that we might be wrong, we'll stay stuck in our foolishness. So stay teachable, stay curious, stay humble enough to listen. When someone challenges your thinking, don't immediately dismiss them. Consider what they're saying. Ask yourself if there's truth in it. Be willing to change your mind when you're presented with better information. That's not weakness, that's wisdom, that's maturity, that's growth. Don't be so convinced of your own rightness that you can't see when you're wrong. Don't be so proud that you refuse to listen. Because the way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but a wise person listens to advice. I've had to change my mind on so many things over the years. Things I was absolutely convinced of. Things I would have argued about passionately. But then someone presented me with a different perspective, or I encountered new information, or I saw the consequences of my thinking play out in real time. And I realized I was wrong. And that's okay. That's actually good. Because it means I'm growing, it means I'm learning, it means I'm willing to be corrected. And that willingness has saved me from so much unnecessary pain and so many avoidable mistakes. Lesson 14. A friend loves at all times. Proverbs 17:17 says, "A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity." Real friendship isn't seasonal. It's not just about the good times, the fun moments, the easy seasons. Real friendship shows up when things fall apart, when you're struggling, when you're hurting, when you're not at your best. A true friend doesn't walk away when life gets messy. They step closer. They carry you. They remind you who you are when you've forgotten. Anyone can be your friend when you're winning, when you're successful, when you're happy, when everything is going well. But a real friend is there when you're losing, when you're broken, when you've messed up and you're ashamed, when you're in the valley and you can't see a way out. That's when you find out who your real friends are. And that's the kind of friend you should be too. Don't just show up for the celebrations. Show up for the hard days. Be the person who stays. Be the person who loves, even when it's inconvenient, even when it costs you something, even when the other person can't give anything back. That's what makes a friendship real. That's what makes it lasting. That's what makes it worth having. So evaluate your friendships. Are you being the kind of friend described in this verse? Are you loving at all times? Or are you only there when it's easy? And look at the people around you. Who are the ones who have been there through thick and thin? Who are the ones who have stayed when everyone else left? Those are your real friends. Treasure them, honor them, be grateful for them, because true friendship is rare. And when you find it, hold on to it. I can count on one hand the friends who have loved me at all times, the ones who showed up when I was at my worst, the ones who didn't abandon me when I made mistakes, the ones who carried me when I couldn't carry myself. And those friendships are priceless. They're the ones I would do anything for. They're the ones I trust with my life, because they've proven their love, not with words, but with actions, not in the easy times, but in the adversity. That's real friendship, and if you have that, you're blessed beyond measure. Lesson 15. Better a little with righteousness than much gain with injustice. Proverbs 16:8 says, "Better a little with righteousness than much gain with injustice." You can have everything and still have nothing. You can gain the whole world and lose your soul. Success doesn't mean anything if it's built on compromise. If you had to lie to get it, if you had to step on people to achieve it, if you had to abandon your integrity to reach it. God values righteousness over riches. He values character over clout. He values obedience over outcomes. And if you have to choose between doing the right thing and getting ahead, always choose the right thing. Always. Because what you gain through dishonesty, you'll lose. What you build on compromise will crumble. What you achieve through injustice will ultimately destroy you. But what you gain through righteousness lasts. What you build on integrity stands. What you achieve through obedience is blessed by God. So don't chase success at the expense of your soul. Don't sacrifice your values for a promotion. Don't compromise your integrity for a paycheck. Don't cut corners to get ahead. It's not worth it. It's better to have less and sleep well at night. It's better to walk in righteousness and trust God to provide. It's better to be broke and blessed than rich and cursed. Because at the end of your life, what will matter isn't how much you accumulated. It's how you lived. It's whether you walked in integrity. It's whether you honored God. And those are the things that can never be taken from you. I've watched people sell their soul for success. I've watched them compromise their values, their integrity, their relationships, all in pursuit of more money, more status, more recognition. And you know what? They got it. They achieved what they were chasing, but they lost themselves in the process. They lost their peace, they lost their joy, they lost the respect of the people who mattered most. And in the end, they realized it wasn't worth it. So learn from their mistakes. Don't sell out. Don't compromise. Keep your integrity intact. Because it's better to have a little with righteousness than everything with injustice. Lesson 16. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely. Proverbs 10:9 says, "Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but whoever takes crooked paths will be found out." Integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is watching. even when it costs you, even when it's hard. And when you walk in integrity, you walk in security. You don't have to look over your shoulder. You don't have to keep track of lies. You don't have to wonder when the truth will catch up to you. You can sleep at night. You can look people in the eye. You can stand before God with a clear conscience. There's a freedom that comes with integrity, a peace, a confidence, because you know that you have nothing to hide. You know that your life can be examined and you'll be okay. You know that you're living in a way that honors God and honors others. But when you take crooked paths, when you lie, cheat, manipulate, or deceive, you lose that security. You're constantly worried about being found out. You're constantly covering your tracks. You're constantly living in fear that someone will discover the truth, and eventually they will. The truth always comes to light, always. So walk in integrity. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Be the same person in private that you are in public. Don't say one thing and do another. Don't pretend to be something you're not. Just be honest, be real, be true. That's how you build a life that lasts. That's how you walk securely. That's how you honor God and reflect His character to the world. Integrity means there's no gap between who you say you are and who you actually are. It means your private life matches your public life. It means your actions align with your words. And that kind of consistency creates security, not just for you, but for everyone around you. People can trust you. They can count on you. They can believe what you say because you've proven yourself to be a person of integrity. And that's a reputation worth more than gold. Lesson 17. Commit your work to the Lord and your plans will succeed. Proverbs 16:3 says, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans." Success isn't about working harder or being smarter than everyone else. It's about surrendering your work to God. When you commit your plans to Him, when you invite Him into your projects, your goals, your dreams, He establishes them. He aligns them. He blesses them. That doesn't mean everything will be easy. It doesn't mean you won't face obstacles, but it means you won't be doing it alone. It means God is with you, directing you, providing for you. So before you start, pray. Before you launch, seek Him. Before you move forward, commit it to the Lord. Ask Him to guide you. Ask Him to bless your efforts. Ask Him to align your plans with His purposes, and then work as unto the Lord. Do your best. Be faithful. Be diligent, but trust that ultimately it's God who establishes your plans. It's God who opens doors. It's God who brings success. So commit your work to Him. Let Him be the foundation of everything you build, because what you build with Him will stand. What you build without Him will crumble. I've learnt this lesson the hard way. I've launched projects without praying. I've pursued goals without seeking God. I've worked my tail off, trying to make things happen in my own strength. And you know what? Some of those things succeeded for a while, but they didn't last. They didn't fulfill me. They didn't bring the blessing I thought they would. But when I've committed my work to the Lord, when I've invited Him into the process, when I've surrendered my plans to His purposes, He's established them. He's opened doors I couldn't have opened. He's brought opportunities I couldn't have created. He's blessed my work in ways I never imagined. So learn from my experience. Commit your work to the Lord. Let Him establish your plans. Lesson 18. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Proverbs 29:18 says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." You need vision. You need direction. You need to know where you're going and why it matters. Without vision, you drift, you settle, you survive instead of thrive. Vision gives you purpose. It gives you focus. It gives you something to work toward, something to fight for, something to build. And vision doesn't come from you. It comes from God. He's the one who plants dreams in your heart. He's the one who shows you what's possible. He's the one who gives you a picture of what He wants to do through your life. So seek Him for vision. Ask Him what He wants to do through you. Ask Him where He's calling you. Ask Him what He's building. and then pursue it with everything you have. Don't wander aimlessly. Don't live without purpose. Get vision and watch how it transforms your life. Watch how it gives you energy, passion, direction. Watch how it pulls you forward even when things get hard, because where there is no vision, the people perish. But where there is vision, the people thrive. Vision is what separates people who are going somewhere from people who are just going through the motions. Vision is what keeps you motivated when the work gets hard. Vision is what helps you say no to good opportunities so you can say yes to great ones. Vision is what gives you the courage to take risks, to step out in faith, to believe for things that seem impossible. So if you don't have vision, ask God for it, seek Him, wait on Him, and when He gives you vision, write it down, make it plain, and then pursue it with everything you've got. Lesson 19. A gentle tongue can break a bone. Proverbs 25:15 says, "Through patience a ruler can be persuaded, and a gentle tongue can break a bone." Gentleness is powerful. Patience is persuasive. You don't have to be loud to be effective. You don't have to be aggressive to make a point. Sometimes the softest voice carries the most weight. When you're patient, when you speak with kindness and grace, when you give people time to process and think, you create space for change. You break through defenses, you open hearts, you move people in ways force never could. Think about it. When someone comes at you aggressively, what's your natural response? You put up walls, you resist, you dig in your heels. But when someone approaches you gently, when they're patient with you, when they speak with kindness, it disarms you. It makes you want to listen. It makes you consider what they're saying. So don't underestimate the power of a gentle approach. Don't think that being kind means you're weak. It doesn't. It means you're wise. It means you understand how influence really works. And it means you reflect the character of Christ, who was gentle and humble in heart. So speak gently. Be patient. And watch how your words break through barriers that force could never penetrate. Some of the most influential people in history weren't loud, they weren't aggressive, they weren't forceful, they were gentle, they were patient. They spoke with conviction, but without condemnation, and they changed the world. Think about Jesus. He didn't force people to follow Him, He invited them. He spoke with authority, but also with gentleness, and people were drawn to Him. They wanted to be near Him. They wanted to hear what He had to say. So follow His example. Be gentle, be patient, and watch how God uses your gentleness to accomplish what aggression never could. Lesson 20. The righteous lead blameless lives. Proverbs 27 says, "The righteous lead blameless lives. Blessed are their children after them." Your life isn't just about you. It's about the legacy you leave. It's about the example you set. It's about the foundation you build for the next generation. When you live with integrity, when you walk in righteousness, when you honor God in every area of your life, you're not just blessing yourself, you're blessing your children, your grandchildren. Everyone who comes after you, they'll see what it looks like to follow God. They'll see what it means to live with conviction. They'll inherit a legacy of faith, not failure. They'll have a foundation to build on, not wreckage to clean up. So live blamelessly, not perfectly but intentionally. Make choices that honor God. Walk in integrity. Build a life that's worth passing down, because your children are watching. The next generation is watching. And what you do today shapes what they do tomorrow. Let your life be a testimony. Let it be something worth following. Let it be a blessing to those who come after you. I think about the legacy I want to leave. I think about what my children will say about me when I'm gone. Will they say I was a man of integrity? Will they say I loved God with all my heart? Will they say I was faithful to my commitments? Will they say I lived what I preached? Those questions drive me. They motivate me. They keep me accountable. because I don't want to just talk about righteousness. I want to live it. I want to model it. I want to leave a legacy that blesses the generations that come after me. Lesson 21. Do not boast about tomorrow. Proverbs 27:1 says, "Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring." You don't control tomorrow. You don't even know if you'll see it. So stop living like you have all the time in the world. Stop putting off the important things. Stop delaying obedience. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Today is what you have. This moment is what's guaranteed. So use it. Love the people in front of you. Do the work God has given you. Say the words that need to be said. Make the apology. Take the step. Don't assume there will always be time later. How many times have you said, "I'll do that tomorrow"? How many times have you postponed something important because you thought you'd have another chance? But tomorrow isn't promised. And sometimes tomorrow never comes. I've talked to too many people who regret not telling someone they love them, who regret not making things right before it was too late, who regret waiting for the perfect moment that never arrived. Don't let that be you. Don't boast about tomorrow. Don't assume you'll have time. Be present. Be faithful. Be intentional with today. Live like every moment matters, because it does. Life is fragile. It's precious. It's fleeting. And we don't know how much time we have. So don't waste it. Don't squander it. Don't take it for granted. Live with urgency. Live with purpose. Live with intentionality, because today is all you're guaranteed. Make it count. Lesson 22. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. Proverbs 18:10 says, "The name of the Lord is a fortified tower. The righteous run to it and are safe." When life gets hard, when you're under attack, when you don't know where to turn, run to God. His name is your refuge. His presence is your safety. You don't have to fight every battle alone. You don't have to carry every burden by yourself. God is your strong tower. He's your protector. He's your fortress. And when you run to him, you are safe. Not from every hardship, not from every trial, but safe in his love, safe in his care, safe in the knowledge that he's with you and he will see you through. The name of the Lord is powerful. It's a fortress. It's a shelter. It's a place where you can rest, where you can find peace, where you can be protected from the storms of life. So when life gets overwhelming, don't run to distractions. Don't run to temporary fixes. Don't try to numb the pain or escape reality. Run to God. Call on his name. Seek his presence. Hide yourself in him, because he's the only refuge that will never fail you. He's the only tower that will never crumble. He's the only place where you're truly, completely safe. I've run to God so many times, when I've been afraid, when I've been overwhelmed, when I've been under attack, when I didn't know what to do or where to turn. And every time he's been my refuge. Every time he's protected me. Every time he's given me the strength to keep going. So I know this isn't just a nice verse. It's a reality. It's a promise you can count on. When you run to God, you are safe. Lesson 23. Wounds from a friend can be trusted. Proverbs 27:6 says, "Wounds from a friend can be trusted, but an enemy multiplies kisses." Not every correction is an attack. Not every hard conversation is hostility. Sometimes the people who love you most are the ones who tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. They wound you because they care. They challenge you because they see your potential. They speak truth because they refuse to watch you settle or self-destruct. And those wounds can be trusted. They're not meant to destroy you. They're meant to refine you. They're meant to help you grow, to help you see your blind spots, to help you become who God created you to be. But an enemy will flatter you. They'll tell you you're fine when you're not. They'll affirm your bad decisions because they don't actually care about your future. They'll multiply kisses. They'll be all smiles and compliments and empty words, but their intentions are hollow. They're not invested in your growth. They're not concerned about your well-being. So welcome the wounds from a true friend. Let them speak into your life. Let them hold you accountable. Let them love you enough to tell you the hard truth. Because that's real love. That's real friendship. And it's one of the greatest gifts you can receive. I'm grateful for the friends who have wounded me, the ones who told me I was wrong, the ones who challenged my decisions, the ones who called me out when I was off track. Because those wounds saved me. They protected me from mistakes that could have been devastating. They helped me grow in ways I never would have on my own. So don't resent the wounds from a friend. Embrace them, thank God for them, and let them refine you. Lesson 24. The generous will prosper. Proverbs 11:25 says, "A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed." Generosity is a cycle. When you give, you receive. When you bless others, you get blessed. Not because God owes you, but because that's how His kingdom works. When you live with an open hand, when you're willing to give your time, your resources, your encouragement, your help, you tap into something supernatural. You become a conduit of God's blessing, and He makes sure you never run dry. Generosity isn't about having a lot. It's about giving what you have. The widow who gave 2 small coins gave more than the rich people who gave out of their abundance, because she gave everything she had. She trusted God to provide, and that's generosity. So don't hold on so tightly. Don't hoard what you have. Don't live with a scarcity mindset that says, "I need to protect mine." Live with an abundance mindset that says, "God will provide. I can afford to be generous." Be generous. Refresh others. Give freely. And watch how God refreshes you. Watch how He provides. Watch how He blesses you in ways you never expected, because you can't outgive God. You just can't. I've tested this principle over and over in my life, and every time God has proven it true. Every time I've given generously, He's provided. Not always in the way I expected, not always in the timing I wanted, but He's always come through. He's always been faithful. So I've learned to live with an open hand, to give freely, to trust that God will take care of me. And He always has. Lesson 25. Start children off on the way they should go. Proverbs 22:6 says, "Start children off on the way they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it." The way you raise your children matters. The foundation you give them matters. The values you instill matter. You're not just raising kids, you're shaping adults. You're building the next generation. So be intentional. Teach them about God. Show them what it looks like to live with integrity. Model love, forgiveness, humility, and faith. Don't just tell them what to believe. Show them. Live it out in front of them. Let them see you pray. Let them see you read your Bible. Let them see you serve others. Let them see you love your spouse. Let them see you handle conflict with grace. Let them see you trust God in hard times. Because they're watching, they're absorbing, they're learning, and what you model for them will shape them for the rest of their lives. And trust that even if they wander for a season, the seeds you planted will bring them back. The foundation you built will hold. They might stray. They might make bad choices. They might reject everything you taught them for a while. But if you started them off on the way they should go, they'll come back to it. So invest in your children. It's one of the most important things you'll ever do. Pour into them, love them, teach them, and trust God with their future. I'm raising children right now. And this verse gives me hope, because I know that even when they make mistakes, even when they wander, even when they question everything I've taught them, the foundation will hold. The truth will remain. The seeds I'm planting now will produce fruit later. So I'm being intentional. I'm modeling faith. I'm teaching truth. And I'm trusting God with the results. Lesson 26. A hot-tempered person stirs up conflict. Proverbs 15:18 says, "A hot-tempered person stirs up conflict, but the one who is patient calms a quarrel." Your temper creates problems. Your anger escalates situations. Your inability to control yourself makes everything worse. If you're someone who's quick to anger, who loses your temper easily, who reacts before you think, you're constantly creating conflict. You're constantly making situations worse. You're constantly damaging relationships. But when you're patient, when you stay calm, when you refuse to react out of emotion, you bring peace, you diffuse tension, you create space for resolution, you give people room to calm down, to think clearly, to approach the situation rationally. Self-control isn't about suppressing your feelings, it's about managing them. It's about not letting your emotions dictate your actions. It's about pausing, taking a breath, and choosing how you want to respond instead of just reacting. So if you struggle with a short fuse, if you find yourself constantly in conflict, ask God to give you patience. Ask Him to help you slow down, breathe, and respond with wisdom instead of rage. Ask Him to help you see the bigger picture instead of just reacting to the moment. Your relationships will thank you. Your peace will thank you. Your future will thank you. I used to have a terrible temper. I would fly off the handle at the smallest things, and it cost me. It damaged relationships. It created unnecessary conflict. It made people afraid to be honest with me. But God has been working on me. He's been teaching me patience. He's been showing me that my anger doesn't accomplish anything good. And slowly, I'm learning to control my temper instead of letting it control me. It's a process, but it's worth it. Lesson 27. The sluggard's craving will be the death of him. Proverbs 21:25 says, "The craving of a sluggard will be the death of him, because his hands refuse to work." You can't want something and refuse to work for it. You can't dream without discipline. You can't expect results without effort. Laziness doesn't just keep you from success. It kills your potential. It destroys your future. It robs you of everything you could have been. God gave you gifts, talents, abilities, and opportunities, and He expects you to use them, not to earn His love, but to honor Him, to steward what He's given you, to make a difference with your life. So stop making excuses. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop expecting everything to just fall into your lap. Get up, work hard, be diligent, be faithful, be consistent, put in the effort, do the work that others aren't willing to do, and watch what God does with your obedience. Watch what He does with your faithfulness. Watch what He does when you combine your effort with His blessing. Because God doesn't bless laziness. He blesses diligence. He blesses faithfulness. He blesses people who work hard and trust Him with the results. Laziness is a slow death. It's the death of potential, the death of purpose, the death of possibility. And it happens gradually. One day at a time, one excuse at a time, one postponed decision at a time, until one day you wake up and realize you've wasted years. So don't let that be you. Work hard, be faithful, be diligent, and trust God to bless your efforts. Lesson 28. Humility comes before honor. Proverbs 18:12 says, "Before a downfall the heart is haughty, but humility comes before honor." If you want to be honored, start by being humble. If you want to be promoted, start by serving. If you want to lead, start by learning. Humility positions you for blessing. It opens doors that pride would slam shut. It creates opportunities that arrogance would never see. God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. He resists those who think they've got it all figured out, but He lifts up those who are humble, who are teachable, who recognize their need for Him. So don't chase recognition. Don't demand respect. Don't force your way to the top. Humble yourself. Serve faithfully. Trust God to lift you up in due time, and when He does, you'll be ready, because humility prepared you. Humility shaped you. Humility made you the kind of person who can handle honor without letting it destroy you. Pride comes before a fall, but humility comes before honor. Choose humility, always. The greatest leaders I know are the most humble. They don't lord their authority over people. They don't demand special treatment. They serve, they listen, they learn. And because of their humility, people want to follow them. People want to honor them. People want to serve them. That's the power of humility. It attracts honor in a way that pride never could. Lesson 29. A wise son brings joy to his father. Proverbs 10:1 says, "A wise son brings joy to his father, but a foolish son brings grief to his mother." The way you live affects the people who love you. Your choices bring them joy or grief. Your wisdom brings them peace or pain. This isn't about performing for approval. It's about honoring those who invested in you. It's about living in a way that reflects the love and sacrifice they poured into your life. Your parents, your mentors, the people who raised you, they gave so much to help you become who you are, and the way you live honors or dishonors that investment. So live wisely, make decisions that honor God and honor your family. Let your life be a blessing, not a burden. Let your choices bring joy, not grief. Let your wisdom reflect the foundation that was laid for you. I think about my parents and the sacrifices they made for me, the late nights, the prayers, the provision, the patience. And I want my life to honor that. I want them to be proud of who I've become, not because I'm perfect, but because I'm faithful, because I'm walking in wisdom, because I'm honoring God. That's my goal, and it should be yours too. Lesson 30. Do not forsake your friend or a friend of your father. Proverbs 27:10 says, "Do not forsake your friend or a friend of your father, and do not go to your relative's house when disaster strikes you. Better a neighbor nearby than a relative far away." Relationships take work, friendships take investment, and loyalty matters. Don't abandon the people who have been there for you. Don't take for granted the friendships that have stood the test of time. Don't let distance or busyness or life's changes cause you to neglect relationships that matter. And when disaster strikes, don't isolate yourself. Let the people who are close, who are present, who are available, let them help you. Sometimes the people who matter most aren't the ones you're related to. They're the ones who show up. They're the ones who are there in the moment. So value your friendships. Invest in them. Be loyal. Be present. And when you need help, don't be too proud to receive it from those who are near. I've learned that proximity matters. When you're in crisis, you need people who are nearby, who can show up, who can be present. You can't always wait for someone to fly in from across the country. You need people in your immediate circle who can respond quickly, so invest in local friendships. Build community where you are. Don't neglect the relationships that are right in front of you. Lesson 31. The wise prevail through great power. Proverbs 24:5 says, "The wise prevail through great power, and those who have knowledge muster their strength." Wisdom gives you an advantage. Knowledge gives you strength. Not physical strength, but strategic strength. The strength to think clearly, to plan well, to navigate complexity. The world needs people who are wise, who are thoughtful, who lead with insight instead of impulse. So, invest in your mind. Read, learn, grow. Seek understanding. Let wisdom be your greatest asset. Don't just rely on your natural abilities. Don't just coast on your talent. Develop your mind. Sharpen your thinking. Become someone who can solve problems, who can see solutions, who can lead with wisdom. Because when you're wise, you don't just survive. You prevail, you overcome. You succeed even when others fail. Knowledge is power, but wisdom is strategic power. It's knowing not just what to do, but when to do it and how to do it. It's discernment, it's understanding, it's insight that goes deeper than information. So pursue wisdom, pursue knowledge, and watch how it gives you an advantage in every area of life. Lesson 32. A prudent person foresees danger and takes precautions. Proverbs 22:3 says, "The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. Wisdom sees what's coming. Foolishness ignores the warning signs. If you see danger ahead, whether it's a bad relationship, a risky decision, a compromising situation, don't keep going. Stop. Adjust. Take refuge. Protect yourself. Don't wait until you're already in the mess to wish you'd made a different choice. Be prudent. Be discerning, pay attention, notice the red flags, listen to the warnings, trust your gut when something doesn't feel right. And when God gives you a red flag, honor it. Don't ignore it. Don't rationalize it away. Don't convince yourself that you'll be the exception, because you won't. The danger is real, and if you keep going, you'll pay the penalty. I've ignored red flags before, and I've always regretted it. Every time. The relationship I knew was wrong but pursued anyway. The business deal I knew was shady but went through with. The decision I knew was unwise but made anyway. And every time I paid the price. So learn from my mistakes. Pay attention to the warnings. Heed the red flags. Take refuge before the danger hits. Lesson 33. The fear of man is a snare. Proverbs 29:25 says, "Fear of man will prove to be a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe." When you care too much about what people think, you get trapped. You compromise. You shrink. You silence yourself. You live for approval instead of obedience. You make decisions based on other people's opinions instead of God's will. And that's a snare. It traps you. It limits you. It keeps you from becoming who you're meant to be. But when you trust God more than you fear people, you walk in freedom. You make decisions based on His truth, not their opinions. You live boldly, knowing that His approval is all that matters. So stop letting people control you. Stop letting their expectations dictate your life. Stop worrying about what they think, what they say, what they'll do if you don't conform. Fear God, trust Him, and let that be enough, because His approval is the only approval that matters. And when you have that, you're free. The fear of man has held so many people back from their calling, from their purpose, from their destiny. They're so worried about what people will think that they never step out. They never take the risk. They never obey God's call, and they spend their whole life trapped in a cage of their own making. Don't let that be you. Break free from the fear of man. Trust God and live boldly. Lesson 34. The righteous person cares for the needs of their animal. Proverbs 12:10 says, "The righteous care for the needs of their animals, but the kindest acts of the wicked are cruel." How you treat what's under your care reveals your character. If you're responsible for something, whether it's an animal, a task, a position, or a person, take care of it well. Don't neglect your responsibilities. Don't abuse your authority. Be faithful. Be kind. Be diligent. Righteousness shows up in the small things. It shows up in how you treat those who are vulnerable, who are dependent on you, who can't defend themselves. So be someone who cares. Be someone who takes responsibility seriously. Be someone whose character is consistent whether anyone's watching or not. Character is revealed in how you treat those who can do nothing for you, how you treat the waiter, how you treat the janitor, how you treat your pet, how you treat people who are beneath you in status or position. That reveals who you really are. So be kind, be compassionate, be responsible in everything. Lesson 35. Do not add to his words. Proverbs 35:6 says, "Every word of God is flawless. He's a shield to those who take refuge in him. Do not add to his words, or he will rebuke you and prove you a liar." God's word is enough. You don't need to add to it. You don't need to twist it to fit your agenda. You don't need to soften it to make people comfortable. Just speak it, live it, trust it. It's flawless. It's sufficient. It's the only truth that will stand forever. So don't manipulate Scripture to say what you want it to say. Don't cherry-pick verses that support your position while ignoring the rest. Don't add your own opinions and present them as God's word. Just let the Bible speak for itself. Trust its sufficiency. And let it transform you. God's word doesn't need our help. It doesn't need our embellishment. It doesn't need our spin. It's perfect as it is, so don't add to it. Don't take away from it. Just proclaim it, live it, and trust it. Lesson 36. A wife of noble character is worth more than rubies. Proverbs 31:10 says, "A wife of noble character who can find, she is worth far more than rubies." This isn't just about marriage. It's about value. It's about recognizing the worth of people who live with integrity, who honor God, who serve others, who build instead of tear down. And if you're married, don't take your spouse for granted. Cherish them. Honor them. Recognize that their character is more valuable than anything money can buy. Don't measure their worth by what they do for you or how they make you look. Measure it by who they are. And if you're looking for a spouse, prioritize character, prioritize faith, prioritize integrity, because those things are worth more than rubies. Those things will sustain a marriage when everything else fades. Character is everything in a spouse, in a friend, in a business partner, in anyone. Because character determines how someone will treat you when no one's watching. Character determines whether they'll stay when things get hard. Character determines whether you can trust them, so value character above everything else. Lesson 37. The tongue of the wise brings healing. Proverbs 12:18 says, "The words of the reckless pierce like swords, but the tongue of the wise brings healing." You can wound someone with your words, or you can heal them. You can tear them down, or you can build them up. Your words have power, and you get to choose how you use that power. Choose healing, choose wisdom. Let your words be medicine, not poison. Let them bring comfort, not pain. Let them build up, not tear down. Because the world has enough people whose words pierce like swords. The world needs more people whose words bring healing. Be someone who speaks healing. Be someone whose words bring life, hope, comfort, and restoration. Be someone who leaves people better than you found them. That's the power of wise words. Lesson 38. The prudent keep their knowledge to themselves. Proverbs 12:23 says, "The prudent keep their knowledge to themselves, but a fool's heart blurts out folly." You don't have to say everything you know. You don't have to prove how smart you are. Sometimes wisdom is knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. Don't blurt out everything. Be intentional. Be thoughtful. Let your words carry weight because they're measured, not because they're many. And when you do speak, speak with purpose. Speak with clarity. Speak with wisdom. But don't feel pressured to fill every silence. Sometimes the wisest thing you can do is say nothing at all. I've learned that the most respected people in the room are often the ones who speak the least, because when they do speak, people listen. Their words carry weight because they're rare, because they're thoughtful, because they're wise. So don't feel like you have to fill every conversation. Be comfortable with silence. And when you do speak, make it count. Lesson 39. Righteousness exalts a nation. Proverbs 14:34 says, "Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin condemns any people." This applies to nations, organizations, families, and individuals. Righteousness lifts you up. Sin drags you down. The choices you make either build or destroy. So choose righteousness, choose integrity, choose obedience, not just for yourself, but for everyone connected to you, because your choices don't just affect you, they affect your family, your community, your nation. Live in a way that exalts rather than condemns. Your righteousness matters. It matters for you, for your family, for your community. So live righteously. Live with integrity. Live in obedience to God. And watch how it lifts everything around you. Lesson 40. One who is slack in their work is a relative of the destroyer. Proverbs 18:9 says, "One who is slack in his work is brother to one who destroys." Laziness and destruction are related. When you're careless, when you cut corners, when you don't give your best, you're tearing down what could have been built. Work matters. Excellence matters. Faithfulness matters. So do your work well. Honor God with your effort. And don't be slack. Don't be the person who does just enough to get by. Be the person who gives their best, who takes pride in their work, who builds instead of destroys. Whatever your hand finds to do it with all your might. Work as unto the Lord. Give your best. Be excellent. Be faithful, because your work is an act of worship. It's a reflection of God's character. So honor Him with it. Lesson 41. He who finds a wife finds what is good. Proverbs 18:22 says, He who finds a wife finds what is good and receives favor from the Lord. Marriage is a gift. It's a partnership. It's a blessing. And if you're married, recognize that. If you're single and seeking, be patient. Let God lead. Trust His timing. And when He brings the right person, you'll know, because they'll be good for you and you'll walk in His favor together. Don't rush into marriage. Don't settle for less than God's best. Wait for the person who brings out the best in you, who helps you become more like Christ, who walks with you toward God. Marriage is one of God's greatest gifts. But it's also one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. So don't rush it, don't settle, wait for God's best, and when He brings the right person, treasure them, honor them, walk with them in God's favor. Lesson 42. Listen to advice and accept discipline. Proverbs 19:20 says, Listen to advice and accept discipline, and at the end you will be counted among the wise. You don't arrive at wisdom by accident. You get there by listening, learning, and being willing to be corrected. Don't resist the process. Embrace it. And one day, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. You'll see how the advice you received shaped you. You'll see how the discipline you accepted refined you. And you'll be counted among the wise. Wisdom is a journey. It's a process. And it requires humility, teachability, and a willingness to grow. So listen to advice, accept discipline, embrace the process, and you'll end up wise. Lesson 43. The fear of the Lord leads to life. Proverbs 19:23 says, The fear of the Lord leads to life. Then one rests content, untouched by trouble. When you fear God, when you honor Him, when you build your life on Him, you find rest. Not the absence of trouble, but peace in the middle of it. Contentment that doesn't depend on circumstances, life that's anchored in something eternal. So fear the Lord, not because He's waiting to punish you, but because He's worthy of your reverence. He's worthy of your honor. He's worthy of your life. The fear of the Lord is the foundation of everything. It leads to life, to peace, to contentment, to rest. So build your life on the fear of the Lord and watch how it transforms everything. Lesson 44. Even fools are thought wise. If they keep silent, Proverbs 17:28 says, Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues. Sometimes the wisest thing you can do is say nothing. Don't feel pressured to have an opinion on everything. Don't feel like you need to speak just to be heard. Silence can be powerful. It can protect you. It can make you appear wiser than you are. So learn when to speak and when to be quiet. Learn when to engage and when to hold your tongue. Silence is golden. Sometimes the best response is no response. So learn to be comfortable with silence. Learn to hold your tongue, and you'll be thought wise even when you're not sure what to say. Lesson 45. Whoever conceals their sins does not prosper. Proverbs 28:13 says, Whoever conceals their sins does not prosper, but the one who confesses and renounces them finds mercy. Hiding your sin doesn't make it go away. It just keeps you stuck. It just keeps you trapped in shame and guilt and fear. But when you confess it, when you bring it into the light, when you turn away from it, you find mercy, you find freedom, you find healing. So stop hiding, stop pretending, confess, repent. and receive the grace God is waiting to give you, because He's not waiting to condemn you. He's waiting to forgive you. He's waiting to restore you. He's waiting to set you free. Confession brings freedom. It brings healing. It brings restoration. So don't hide your sin. Bring it to the light, confess it, renounce it, and receive the mercy and grace that God is eager to give. Lesson 46. Better to live on a corner of the roof than share a house with a quarrelsome spouse. Proverbs 21:9 says, "Better to live on a corner of the roof than share a house with a quarrelsome wife." This applies to any relationship. It's better to be alone and at peace than constantly in conflict. Don't settle for toxic relationships. Don't stay in environments that drain you. Prioritize peace. Protect your peace. And if you're in a relationship, work to be a person of peace, not contention. Work to create an environment where both people can thrive, not just survive. Peace is priceless. It's worth more than comfort, more than convenience, more than companionship with the wrong person. So prioritize peace, protect it, pursue it, and create it wherever you are. Lesson 47. The rich rule over the poor. Proverbs 22:7 says, "The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender." Debt enslaves you. It limits your freedom. It controls your choices. So be wise with your finances. Don't live beyond your means. Don't borrow what you can't afford to pay back. Live within your means. Be generous, be responsible, and trust God to provide. Don't let debt rule your life. Don't let it steal your freedom. Make wise financial decisions and walk in financial peace. Financial freedom is spiritual freedom, because when you're in debt, you're not free. You're enslaved to your lender. So get out of debt. Stay out of debt, live within your means, and walk in the freedom that God intends for you. Lesson 48. Do not exploit the poor, because they are poor. Proverbs 22:22 says, "Do not exploit the poor because they are poor, and do not crush the needy in court." God defends the poor. He sees injustice, and He holds people accountable for how they treat the vulnerable. So don't take advantage of people. Don't exploit their desperation. Stand with them, advocate for them. Reflect the heart of God toward those who are hurting. Use your privilege, your resources, your voice to defend those who can't defend themselves. God cares deeply about how we treat the vulnerable. So be someone who stands up for them. Be someone who defends them. Be someone who reflects God's heart toward the poor and oppressed. Lesson 49. Apply your heart to instruction. Proverbs 23:12 says, "Apply your heart to instruction and your ears to words of knowledge." Don't just hear. Listen. Don't just read. Apply. Let God's word change you. Let instruction shape you. Be a doer, not just a hearer. That's how you grow. That's how you become who God created you to be. So when you read scripture, ask, how does this apply to my life? What do I need to change? What do I need to do differently? And then do it. Knowledge without application is useless, so don't just accumulate information. Apply it. Live it. Let it transform you. That's how you grow. That's how you become wise. Lesson 50. Buy the truth and do not sell it. Proverbs 23:23 says, "Buy the truth and do not sell it." Wisdom, instruction, and insight as well. Truth is valuable. It's worth everything. Don't trade it for comfort. Don't trade it for popularity. Don't trade it for convenience. Hold on to it, pursue it, guard it, because truth is the foundation of everything. And when you have it, don't let it go. Don't compromise it. Don't water it down. Stand on truth. Live by truth. Let truth guide you, and never, ever sell it. Truth is non-negotiable. It's the foundation of everything, so buy it at any cost. And once you have it, never sell it, never compromise it, never trade it. Hold on to truth like your life depends on it, because it does. Before we close, I want to speak directly to your heart for a moment. If you've made it this far, If you've stayed with me through all 50 lessons, I believe there's a reason. I believe God is stirring something in you. Maybe He's reminding you of who you're called to be. Maybe He's convicting you of areas where you've compromised. Maybe He's giving you hope that it's not too late to change, to grow, to become the person He created you to be. Whatever it is, don't ignore it. Don't push it aside. Lean into it. And if you feel moved to support this ministry, to help us reach more people with messages like this, I want to invite you to become a channel member. Not because I need your money, but because together we can do so much more than we can alone. Every person who joins is helping us reach someone who's lost, someone who's hurting, someone who needs to know that God still speaks. This isn't a transaction, it's a partnership, it's a movement, and I'd be honored to have you be a part of it. So if you feel led, click that membership button. Join us, let's change lives together. Now before I let you go, I have one final ask. If this message blessed you, if it challenged you, if it reminded you of truths you needed to hear, please don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to this channel. Hit that like button. Turn on notifications so you never miss a video, because we're not done. There's more wisdom coming, more truth, more hope, more messages that will strengthen your faith and equip you for the journey ahead. And share this video. Send it to someone who needs it. Post it on your social media. Let's spread this message as far as we can, because somewhere right now, someone is searching for hope. Someone is looking for answers. Someone is desperate to know that they're not alone. And this message might be exactly what they need to hear. So share it. Be the one who brings hope into someone's life today. Be the one who reminds them that God is still here, still speaking, still working. Be the one who points them back to wisdom, back to truth, back to Him. I'm praying for you. I'm believing that God is going to do something powerful in your life. I'm believing that these 50 lessons will take root in your heart and produce fruit that lasts. I'm believing that you'll walk in wisdom, that you'll make decisions that honor God, that you'll build a life that reflects His glory. You're not here by accident. God brought you to this message for a reason, so don't waste it. Apply what you've learned. Live it out. Let it change you. Let it transform the way you think, the way you love, the way you lead, the way you live. And know that you are loved, you are seen, you are valued. Not because of what you do, but because of who you are. You are a child of God. You are created in His image. You are called to walk in wisdom and to reflect His light to a dark world. So go do that. Go be that. Go live that. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May His face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May He turn His face toward you and give you peace. Go in wisdom, walk in strength, stand in truth, and know that you are never alone. God is with you. He's for you. He's leading you, and He will never let you go. Amen and amen.